when we record session automation, it records that automation into what are called clip envelopes. And we can also modify or automate those clip envelopes as parameter changes without recording them live. So let's look at doing some interesting sound design with that. So I'll duplicate our disco loop again, and I'll double click on it. And we want to show all the envelopes because I want to find something else through our drop-down menu. In the clip parameters, we have transposition modulation. And you can hear what it's going to sound like by me changing the transposition there. And the 0 setting of the transposition automation lane corresponds to the current transposition setting. So I've unlinked the length of it. By default, the length of the automation envelope is going to be same length as the loop itself, but you can unlink it. In this case, I made it so we have a 4-bar transposition envelope. And now I'm using the pencil tool with the half-note steps of the quantization grid as current magnification to edit steps of transposition there. And I'm just sort of smoothing these transitions out and editing some of the automation here. And what's beautiful about the clip envelope automation, not just what it can do, but the fact that this is all non-destructive editing, meaning that the original audio file, this loop file, wherever it is on my hard drive, or if it was a full song, that file wouldn't be altered at all. If we played it in iTunes, it would sound the same way it always does. These automations are essentially instructions for how we want Ableton to play the file back. They're not changing the original file in any way. So Ableton's very intelligent that way. Before, with destructive editing, you'd have to save a new version of the file and your hard drive would fill up with all these different file versions, or you could just destroy the original file by saving on top of it, and that's why it was called destructive editing. So now let's create another unlinked envelope for the mixer. Hall, and again 8 bars. And whatever parameter was last actually selected, clicked on with the mouse, will show up by default as the selected envelope in the clip envelope view area. So every 8 bars, we're going to have a little Hall reverb come on there, and I've selected and copied that 8-bar Hall automation loop. I'm going to paste that same automation envelope to the 16th note delay as well. So we're going to hear both the reverb and the 16th note delay come in at the end of every 8 bars, just like that, making our disco loop a lot more interesting. Now I've adjusted the LFO amount here, and there it is, last selected parameter shown right up in the clip envelopes. I've unlinked it and I've set it as 64 bars. So this is to illustrate that these clip envelopes can be whatever length you want, and we can do some really dynamic things that aren't going to repeat the same way twice for a very long period of time. What's more is that the start point of the clip automation can be different from the loop area, just like in a normal clip. So I'm going to set the filter resonance to 111 bar automation loop. Why? Because I can, and because I don't want it to sound exactly the same way twice for a very long period of time. So subtle changes, but it's just my attempt to keep everything dynamic. And I'm setting the beginning and the end of this odd length loop to around the same value. If you hold down the command key as you adjust the breakpoints, it gives you that numerical value box showing what value you have it set to. Finally, the LFO frequency, 180 bar loop.